They're signing in. Yep, no. Those on.
What is that building?
Hello.
Yeah, it shows this whole thing on work.
A lot of sign-ins going on over there.
Oh boy.
Talking about the data center that we're not talking about. Which would be talking.
That's not even on the.
To go ahead and get started, so if everybody can make their way to a seat. I go ahead and call the meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Tonight is the Uwchlan Township Board of Supervisors meeting for the month of May. Just for the record, this meeting is being recorded as well as live streamed onto our Township YouTube channel. I'd like to announce that we did not have any executive sessions since the last meeting. And if you would join me to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the United States and to the states, one nation, under God, indivisible. I want to welcome everyone. We have a full house tonight. It's always exciting to see. Before we begin, I just want to draw your attention to resolution number 2023-08, outlining the public participation rules and guidelines for public meetings. Residents and taxpayers of the township who wish to address the board during the public comment period at the end of the meeting should sign their names to a sign-in sheet, which is provided by the township at the rear of the building. And it looks like you guys have found that. Speakers must identify themselves by name and street name. A business or an organization is encouraged to designate one person to present comments on its behalf. The speaker must direct all comments to the Board of Supervisors and not to staff. Each speaker recognized by the board chair will be given 3 minutes to comment during the public comment period. No official board action will be taken on items presented during the public comment period at the end of the meeting. Items may be referred to township staff and/or the appropriate working group or committee for further research and discussion. Matters addressed publicly to the board will be taken under advisement, and either the board will respond to the person raising the issue directly at a later date, or the board will respond to the items during a future public meeting as an agenda item. The board need not engage in discussion on comments offered. Speakers should limit repetition to fictitious comments, and when appropriate, acknowledge agreement with the previous speaker's comment or position. While the public has the right to make critical remarks, the public does not have the right to disrupt a meeting. In cases of serious disruption, the board will adjourn the meeting or take such other action to resolve the disruption as appropriate under the circumstances. All right, with that, I'll ask if there is a motion to approve the minutes of the April 13th, 2026 meeting and the May 7th, 2026 workshop meeting.
I move that we approve the meetings from the April 13th meeting and the workshop meeting as well.
I'll second that.
I second.
I can go ahead and second.
I don't think.
I also want to note, just for the record, that Mr. Miller is joining us electronically tonight, so hopefully he can hear us.
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
He's on mute. He's on mute.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you
Okay.
are. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
All right. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, I'll call the vote. I'm sorry, is there any board questions or comments?
No.
Is there any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. With that, we'll move into the reports for this evening, starting with our Chief of Police.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to acknowledge that this is National Police Week. It's in recognition of officers who've given their lives in the line of duty, as well as those who continue to serve and protect our communities with dedication and courage. National Police Week is both a time of solemn remembrance and a celebration of the men and women who serve with integrity and bravery every day. It reminds us that behind every badge is a story of service, sacrifice, and family. This Thursday, Chester County FOP Lodge 11 will honor and remember fallen officers that passed away in the line of duty in Chester County. This year, PSP Corporal O'Connor will also be added to the memorial wall. For the month of April, the department made 872 entries into the police department reporting system. Of those entries, 16 were motor vehicle crashes, and they arrested 22 individuals. Additionally, we did conduct 2 motor vehicle carrier details, which resulted in 667 commercial vehicles being weighed, 3 of which were overweight. 19 inspections were conducted, requiring 6 vehicles to be placed out of service. The department did participate in 6 community events during the month of April, and there were no Narcan administrations.
Thank you, Chief. Treasurer's report.
We collected almost 31% of our budgeted revenue and have spent just under 29% of our budgeted expenditures. Overall, our 2026 revenues are ahead of our 2025 year-to-date. A portion of this can be attributed to the collection of the increased real estate taxes, slightly higher real estate transfer taxes to date, and an increase to building permits because of Gray Farm. To date, our EIT collections have exceeded last year to date by approximately $135,000. We'll continue to monitor both revenues and expenditures and recommend adjustments as appropriate.
Thank you. Public Works.
Good evening. For April 2026, I'm going to start with the road department. They did 3 pipe replacements on Carmarthen Drive, as well as excavated, formed, and poured new inlets on Carmarthen and Marioneth Drives. They replaced C-tops on Pine Creek Road, filled numerous potholes throughout the township. There was a long washout on Norwood Road that they filled in, performed vehicle maintenance and inspections on police, administration, and sewer department vehicles, removed salt spreaders and cleaned them for next season. For the sewer department, the daily average flow to the Downingtown Area Treatment Facility in April was 1.38 million gallons per day. We recorded 2.26 inches of rain for the month, giving Uwchlan Township a rainfall deficit of 6.46 inches for the year. The staff responded to 228 Pennsylvania One call notifications. All 3 pump stations are operating normal with no issues. The Eagleview wastewater treatment plant had no violations for the month of April. We took delivery of a new mower, started parging storm inlets for the 2026 paving program, and the staff cleaned and televised 1,098 feet of storm pipe and finished televising the 2026 paving program. The Parks Department performed weekly checks, replaced broken fence rails, replaced damaged mailboxes from plowing, did weekly grooming of the ball fields, weekly mowing of all parks. They blew off the trails in the parking lots, and they did 1 truck and trailer inspection.
Thank you. Building Department.
Yes, for the month of April, the building department issued 148 permits for construction activities. A total of 232 inspections were conducted, 34 fire inspections were conducted, 64 use and occupancy certificates were issued, and the fire marshal responded to 30 incidents during working hours and conducted 1 burning complaint investigation.
Thank you. Lionville Fire Company.
Good evening. There were a total of 72 calls for the month of April. 41 in Uwchlan, 11 in Upper Uwchlan, 9 in West Pikeland, and 11 in other municipalities. The average personnel per call was 6.17, with a total of 404 responding personnel. Total time spent in service was 25 hours and 53 minutes. Average time in service per call was 21 minutes and 34 seconds. The average time from dispatch to on scene was 10 minutes and 32 seconds. The busiest day of the week was Saturday, with the busiest time frame being between 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. There were 4 drill nights held and 9 duty crew nights.
Great, thank you. And I'll just note that the board has received Uwchlan ambulance report in our packet. All right, with that, is there a motion to approve the reports as read?
I move that all reports be approved.
Any
Second.
board questions? Any board questions or comments?
No.
Any public comment? All right, seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, we'll move into this evening's business agenda. And before we jump into our number one item, I just wanted to echo the comments that the chief shared in honor of National Police Week. As we begin tonight's meeting, I'd like to recognize National Police Week and honor the dedicated law enforcement officers serving communities across Pennsylvania and at home here in Uwchlan Township. Our Commonwealth is home to more than 1,100 local and state law enforcement agencies. Here in Uwchlan Township, we are incredibly fortunate to live in a community that's served by its own police department, where our neighborhoods, schools, businesses, and families are greeted by the friendly, familiar faces of our officers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I know that you all join with me to show our gratitude for the professionalism, courage, and commitment that is shown on a daily basis by the officers of the Uwchlan Township Police Department. We also pause tonight to remember the officers who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty, and we keep their families and loved ones in our thoughts always. And with that, I would like to move on to the John Ratchko Award and the recognition of our Officer Lindy.
Good evening, everyone. My job tonight for this is pretty easy. I'm going to hand it off to retired Lieutenant Maureen Evans as she submitted this application, and she'll move forward with the presentation.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So I want to thank Chief Fisher and Sergeant Mattioni for inviting me back to be able to read the letter that I submitted for Officer Lindy. So our department was once again invited by the Veterans of Foreign War, Post 845, to participate in the yearly John Ratchko Award. The award is presented by the Veterans of Foreign War members as a way to honor all branches of emergency services, police, fire, ambulance, and 911 dispatchers within our communities, and is described as follows. The eligibility criteria for the outstanding police officer nominee, in summary, includes recognition of services, whether through quiet dedication or wide publicity, unswerving loyalty to and active performance in the defense, safety, and security of the nation's citizens on a full-time, part-time, or volunteer basis, and dedication to their official duties over a period of years and continuous growth in responsibility and experience which safeguard the community. A nomination letter is required outlining the nominee's background, accomplishments, and any additional facts related to employment or law enforcement work. Two of our officers, Sergeant Maria Mattioni and Sergeant Stephen Saracini, are past recipients of this great award. For 2025, I submitted Officer Zachary Lindy and forwarded his nomination letter to Robert J. Pate. He is the post vice commander, and we also have Thomas Flick. He is the commander for VFW Post 845. So we're really honored to have you both here tonight. Thank you. So I submitted the letter, and I will read you the letter that I submitted for Officer Lindy. Greetings, Mr. Pate. I am writing to nominate one of our police officers, Officer Zachary C. Lindy, for the John Ratchko Award. Officer Lindy was hired by our department in a full-time capacity on April 23, 2024. He is a member of our patrol division. Officer Lindy was born and raised in Westtown Township, Chester County, PA. He is a graduate of Westchester University, 2014, with a Bachelor of Science degree in athletic training. And upon graduating, he moved to the state of Delaware. Officer Lindy began his postgraduate career as an athletic director for ATI Physical Therapy, where he was responsible for providing emergency care and preventative sports medicine to high school athletes who attended Thomas McKean High School and St. Mark's High School in Delaware. During his employ with ATI Physical Therapy, he also had the opportunity to provide rehabilitation care to a member of the United States Marshal Service. It was at that time, through conversations with this member, as well as his uncle, who retired from the Alexandria, New Hampshire Police Department as the chief of police, that he discovered a strong interest and a call to service thus making the decision to shift his career path to becoming a police officer. Acting on this call to service, Officer Lindy applied to the Ellesmere Police Department in Delaware and was hired in December of 2018. He then attended the Lieutenant Joseph L. Zerba Police Academy and graduated in July of 2019. Ellesmere, Delaware is a 1 square mile town with approximately 6,000 residents and borders Wilmington, Delaware. He quickly developed an interest in drug and criminal interdiction, and along with advanced training and self-initiated field experience, he was able to conduct numerous traffic stops that resulted in arrests and felony convictions for illegal possession of narcotics, illegal firearms, and wanted persons. During his employment with Ellesmere Police Department, he was promoted to the rank of corporal. Although he enjoyed his employment and growth within that department, Officer Lindy was always drawn back to Chester County. Once he became aware that the Uwchlan Township Police Department was hiring, he took the necessary steps to begin the transition from the state of Delaware back to Pennsylvania. Because each state has different hiring requirements, statutes, etc., this was not an easy task, especially given there was no guarantee that he would be hired. Officer Lindy challenged and he passed the Act 120 waiver exam, which is the first step in becoming a certified police officer in Pennsylvania through the Municipal Police Officers Training and Education Commission. Act 120 certification is the mandatory training requirement to become a police officer in Pennsylvania. The test consists of 200 questions and a grade of 70% is required in order to pass. So prior to taking this test, Officer Lindy had to study and learn the laws of Pennsylvania as they relate to the Constitution of the United States of America, the PA Crimes Code, PA Vehicle Code, and the Pennsylvania Rules of Criminal Procedure. He passed the test and obtained the Act 120 certification, and he applied to our department. Officer Lindy then went through additional mentally and physically demanding tests as he moved through our hiring process. And ultimately, due to his professionalism, experience, and overall abilities, he was hired as a full-time officer with the Uwchlan Township Police Department. Officer Lindy and his wife have 3 daughters, and he and his wife relocated to Pennsylvania upon his hire, thus dealing with the stress of purchasing a new home and getting his children into a new school. To his credit, despite the major changes he had to make, Officer Lindy never missed a shift and continued to come to work with a positive attitude. From the moment he started with our agency, he has been a huge asset. He continued to familiarize himself with not only the procedures of a new police department, but also the procedures for working in a different state. He never hesitated to ask questions and also ensured that he was doing things properly. He has brought much experience to our agency, and he uses his knowledge to help other officers and always asks for their input regardless of their years on the job or experience level. He is a true team player. As a member of our patrol division, Officer Lindy is tasked with handling numerous calls throughout a 12-hour shift. These calls often require follow-up and attention to detail. He excels at both. He will often handle his own investigations as opposed to forwarding them to the criminal unit. This requires time management and organizational skills, which Officer Lindy most definitely possesses. When he is not addressing a call for service, he remains on constant patrol and has focused his drug interdiction skills on a much-needed area of our township. In recent years, specifically since the COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen an increase in drug activity and associated quality of life issues in our area. Although the drug trafficking is the main issue, this type of crime has a ripple effect, resulting in drug overdoses, drug-related deaths, prostitution, thefts, assaults, and dangerous weapon-related offenses. Many law-abiding citizens are negatively affected, and those suffering from drug addiction are so often victimized as well. As call loads increased specific to the above issues, it became imperative that directed patrol and thorough investigations were needed. Officer Lindy immediately took action and spent hours conducting surveillance and gathering investigative intelligence. He also requested to attend trainings related to drug investigations and successfully completed those trainings throughout 2024. It is noted that these types of investigations take a tremendous amount of time, patience, and attention to detail. In my capacity, former, as the patrol lieutenant of the police department, I was able to review all reports, body camera footage, and oversee the daily operations, thus allowing me to view the work our officers do every day, and it is great work. The work I have witnessed by Officer Lindy is impressive to say the least. He approaches each interaction professionally and respectfully. He has a calm demeanor and does not raise his voice nor use inappropriate language despite being in very tense situations. When conducting a drug-related investigation, specifically vehicle stops, the officer must be very careful not to unintentionally overstep and to remain within the proper scope of the law so the arrests and convictions are successful. It goes without saying that each step of these investigations must be ethically sound and fair to all involved. Officer Lindy conducts his investigations in just that way. He focuses on the big picture, which is ultimately making a safe environment and protecting our citizens from harm. Officer Lindy's investigations have resulted in successful arrests and prosecutions for possession with intent to deliver a large quantity of methamphetamine, maybe the largest since I was employed with Uwchlan Township, I will say, as well as other illegal narcotics and drug paraphernalia arrests. His investigations have helped to locate several subjects with outstanding warrants for various serious crimes. Because of his investigative efforts, the areas of concern have most definitely become safer and the quality of life has been improved for our citizens. Although Officer Lindy's tenure with us has not been long, he has made a very positive impact that will no doubt continue. In addition to focusing on his areas of investigative interest, he is also a Monadnock Expandable Baton instructor for our department. This will enable him to assist in the training and recertification of our officers for many years to come. For all these reasons I have mentioned and for the great work that he does, I respectfully request that you consider Officer Zachary C. Lindy as the recipient of the 2025 John Ratko Award. Thank you for your time and for including our department in your wonderful program. Thank you.
Okay, it's our honor to come out here tonight and present to one of your police officers the John Ratko Award. Okay, and I want you to know that all the police officers you have in this township do a wonderful job. I've lived in this area for many years now. I retired from the military in '97 and lived right across the street on Glamorgan Court to begin with. So I've had the experience of their service and they do outstanding work. So without further ado, Zach, I would like to present you the John Ratko Award. And along with that comes a check for $500.
Three girls.
Instantly the cutest picture that's ever been taken in a server.
That because I got out of the way?
Yeah.
Yes, congratulations, and we're so
Congratulations,
fortunate
thank
to have the VFW appreciate our officers the way that we do. So, thank you. Hi, Lieutenant. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to number 2 in our business agenda this evening, which is the swearing in of new fire police officers. Mr. Cagle?
We have 2 new volunteer fire police officers with the Lineville Fire Company to be sworn in tonight, Robert Sabin and Michael Sexton. Both officers have completed their emergency vehicle operations course and the basic fire police class and are ready to perform fire police duties. And before we begin, just a shameless plug for the need for volunteers. Lineville Fire Company is an all-volunteer fire company and is in the need of additional volunteers. I think when people think of the fire company, they think of being a firefighter, but the reality is there are a lot of different positions, including fire police. Since we're talking about fire police now, I just want to highlight this important function. These volunteers help direct traffic at emergency scenes, whether it be a fire or an accident. They also help out at events like races and concerts. And if you're interested in volunteering in any capacity, you can visit the fire company website at www.lionvillefire.org or stop by any Thursday night between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. where members are training. So if Robert and Michael are here, we'll have them come forward and we'll get you sworn in.
I, Michael Sexton, and I, Robert Savage. Do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of a fire police officer with the great job.
Should have done I state that. I stated it.
Oh, no.
Thank you so much. And I'll just echo Mr. Kegel's comments. You guys are really the unsung heroes. Our fire police officers are the ones that are out controlling crash scenes and making sure that our fire EMS police personnel are remaining safe, as well as the traffic in the area, and they're out when we are sleeping. So I thank you for your service. All right, we'll move along to number 3. Resolution number 2026-15, authorization to apply for a CFA Greenways, Trails, and Recreation Grant for the Uwchlan Trail Connector.
This resolution authorizes us to apply for another state grant to complete the missing link of the Uwchlan Trail between Newcomen Road and Valley Hill Road. This grant authorizes the township manager to apply and execute any necessary paperwork for the application and any subsequent award which may occur. The total estimated cost of the project is $1.7 million. The grant could provide up to half of the cost of the project. We also applied for $500,000 from DCNR and another $400,000 from DVRPC, which is the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission. Any additional costs would be funded through the open space tax collections.
Thank you. Is there a motion for the approval of resolution number 2026-15?
I move that we approve resolution dash 2020, I'm sorry, no dash yet. Resolution 2026-15.
Second.
Are there any board questions or comments?
None.
I'll just add how grateful I am for the work that the staff has been. We have been aggressively pursuing grant funding for a number of these projects. So I look forward to having this one added to that list. All right, is there any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 4, resolution number 2026-16, tax duplicate for 2026 updated.
This resolution updates the tax duplicate based on interim assessment changes issued by the Chester County Assessor's Office. The resolution directs the tax collector to collect the additional taxes and exempts interim assessment changes under $10 as the cost to issue the bill is more than that. The assessment changes add an additional $995.59 to the collectible taxes.
Every penny counts.
Sorry.
Is there a motion for the approval of resolution number 2026-16?
I move that we approve resolution 2026-16.
Second.
Any board questions or comments? Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 5, authorization to purchase the Volvo wheel loader from Sourcewell vendor Hoffman Equipment.
We're requesting authorization to purchase a Volvo wheel loader from Sourcewell vendor Hoffman Equipment located on Gordon Drive here in the township. The total cost, including a snowplow, is $272,135. We budgeted $300,000 for this purchase, and ultimately it will be replacing a 23-year-old wheel loader.
All right, is there a motion for authorization to purchase?
I move that we authorize the purchase of the Volvo wheel loader.
A second.
Any board questions or comments? Any public comment? All right, seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 6, ordinance 2026-06. Mitchell and Sons LLC, 510 North Pottstown Pike, with the zoning ordinance amendment and zoning change. Ms. Giordano? Oh, sorry, Mr. Silsa?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is a proposed ordinance to amend the official map of Uwchlan Township to rezone parcel located west on North Pottstown Pike, sharing a border with West Whiteland Township known as 510 North Pottstown Pike and identified as Chester County Tax Map, identification number 33-5-29, which is located in the PC Plan Commercial District, and it would be changed to the R1 Low Density Residential District. We have a number of exhibits, so bear with me while we work through them. Board Exhibit 1 is the application letter with attachments from RRHC dated March 27th, 2026. Board Exhibit 2 is the proposed ordinance number 2026-06. Board Exhibit 3 is the notice of hearing to the Daily Local. Board Exhibit 4 is the proof of publication on April 21st, 2026 and May 1st, 2026. Board Exhibit 5 is the certificate of posting. Board Exhibit 6 is the abutting property owners notified. Board Exhibit 7 is the E.B. Walsh review letter dated April 6th, 2026. Board Exhibit 8 is the Bowman review letter dated April 10, 2026. Board Exhibit 9 is the Thurkoff review letter dated April 14th, 2026. Board Exhibit 10 is the Uwchlan Fire Marshal memorandum dated April 6th, 2026. Board Exhibit 11 is the HRG review letter dated April 23rd, 2026. Board Exhibit 12 is the Chester County Planning Commission letter dated April 20, 2026. Board Exhibit 13 is the draft Planning Commission meeting minutes dated May 6, 2026. And Board Exhibit 14 is the West Whiteland Township Zoning Hearing Board decision from January 22nd, 2026. So that's all we have as far as exhibits. I don't know if the board would like to say anything or if the applicant's here and would like to say anything.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Cameron Wolfson with the law firm Riley Riper. We are the attorneys for the petitioner, and with me tonight is the petitioner's representative, Manu Matal. I'm happy to provide as much background as you guys would like. Mr. Freed summed it up quite nicely, but essentially we are requesting a rezoning of the Uwchlan Township portion of this property from PC planned commercial to R1 low density residential. As you can see that this property, there's many unique characteristics, but one of them is that it spans both West Whiteland Township and Uwchlan Township. It's also split zoned into 3 different zoning districts. The West Whiteland portion is R1 and NC commercial. The Uwchlan portion is currently PC. This plan actually perfectly kind of encapsulates the larger proposal. If ultimately approved, the petitioner would propose to develop 2 single-family detached homes, one on West Whiteland portion and one on the Uwchlan portion. Obviously, the current zoning district does not permit that. So in order to effectuate this project, it would require the rezoning be approved. We had attended West Whiteland zoning hearing board to get the approvals for the single-family house. They did approve all variances and special exception. And of course, last week we were at the Planning Commission for Uwchlan Township. They recommended unanimously approving the rezoning. So I'm happy to answer any questions if you guys have it.
Any board questions?
I don't have any questions.
All right. If there are no questions, is there a motion for the approval of ordinance 2026-06?
I move that we approve ordinance 2026-06.
I'll second.
And seeing no board questions or comments, is there any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes.
Close the hearing.
Magic words. All right, we'll move along to number 7, APG Peck Road, 675 Peck Road, preliminary final land development plan extension request. Ms. Gier.
Yes, back in March, the applicant had submitted the preliminary final land development plan. They did receive some review comments back and are in the process of revising the plan. So they had submitted a request for an extension until June 30th. That would give the applicant time to come to the June Planning Commission and then the June board meeting.
All right. Do we need to take action on? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'll go ahead and motion to agree to the extension request for 675 Peck Road.
I second.
Any board questions or comments? Any public comment? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 8, Hankin Group, Eagleview Town Center, Lot 17, conditional use hearing request.
Yes, so back in 2020, the Hankin Group received conditional use approval for Lot 17, which was part of Town Center 2. This was actually Phase 2. The approval was to construct 82 apartments in one building. Since that time, the Hankin Group had purchased the World Travel Building that was adjacent to it and recently consolidated those lots, and now are proposing to reconfigure the apartments into 2 separate buildings with an addition to the World Travel Building. The apartment building now would propose 93 apartment units. So for this reconfiguration, they would need conditional use approval. So we're looking to schedule that hearing for June 8th.
All right.
You know,
Yeah, just taking note. Thank you. Number 9, Hankin Group, 713 Haywood Drive, Lot B, preliminary final land development plan submission.
Yes, we received the land development plan for a 35,000 square foot warehouse, similar to the one that is already constructed next door to that property. The plan is being sent out for review, and the applicant will attend the June Planning Commission meeting to discuss the plan.
Thank you. Great, that concludes our business agenda for this evening. I'd like to draw your attention to the announcements that are listed at the bottom of this evening's agenda. And I will go ahead and open the meeting up to public comment. When I call your name, if you could step up to the microphone, please, so that everybody could hear you, state your name. And just a reminder that we have a 3-minute comment time frame. Okay. John Amrian.
Good evening. I'm here to appeal the sound ordinance waged against Pennypacker Country Club on behalf of the pickleball courts. I'm the director of pickleball, been playing for 10 years and a master teaching professional for 5 years. We all know there's a sound problem with all of pickleball, but at Pennypacker, they are solving a problem. The township only has 6 pickleball courts available to all the players. So Pennypacker put in courts, and they are a country club that offers sports, and the people that bought those homes live next to a club that offers sports. I've done some studying with them, helping to mitigate that sound. They've put in trees, they put in uglier black barriers to reduce the sound, which has worked incredibly well. And so we're appealing as a pickleball player and a coach that you reconsider your decision and help us out and help us pickleball players out. Also, I've been a township member for 38 years, so it's important to my income and the income of my family that I'm allowed to teach pickleball at those courts. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mary Pat Amrian. Thank you. Regina Sabbath. Going once? No? Okay. Michael Sexton. They might have thought they were just signing in. Robert Savin. Carol Bush.
Hi, Carol Bush, 340 Kid Valley Court, Exton. I have lived in this township for 40 years, and I also am speaking on behalf of Pennypacker Country Club and the new noise ordinance. The township provided pickleball courts at Ted G. Courts on 113, and those courts are approximately 40 to 60 feet from Route 113. You gave an arbitrary noise level ordinance of 50 decibels. A refrigerator is 50 decibels. Normal conversation, 60 decibels. One car produces 60 to 100 decibels, with 70 being the standard sound of a car driving. In the course of playing one pickleball point, not a game, 1 point at Ted G. Courts, how many cars go by? How many decibels do these cars collectively generate? If a ball goes over top of the fence into the street, it endangers the drivers on the road, and normally the ball gets smashed, resulting in a loss of $3 per ball. If the ball doesn't get smashed, you risk your life to go and retrieve the ball in the midst of ridiculous traffic. We are trying to do something healthy, get fresh air, exercise, but instead we put our lives in danger and smell car exhaust. So our proposal is to allow Pennypacker Pickleball to reopen until Uwchlan Township decides to provide us quality courts to play, just like surrounding townships. East Goshen Park has at least 8. Concord Township has 12. They're free with permanent nets and the proper court surface. You can grant us a special exception for the sound ordinance like you do for fireworks, the marching band, and all the other activities in the township, because they all exceed the 50 decibels. The former Happy Days farm property would be a great place. This would serve the township residents in a positive way, unlike the mega warehouses that were approved and built and are being built. The Pennypackers have spent lots of money to mitigate the sound, as John pointed out, and I contacted you, Laura Binsky, about getting on the agenda for tonight, and I was told I couldn't get on the agenda and that I could meet with you tomorrow or Thursday. That's after the meeting. So I would respectfully request that we can get this resolved tonight in a fair and amicable way that suits all parties, including the residents that are behind Pennypacker. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mary Sperling?
Hello, my name's Mary Sperling. I live at 612 Chinook Drive. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here to offer comments regarding the pickleball sound discussions involving Pennypacker, along with the residents of Hawthorne Street. Will my fellow Pennypacker members please raise their hands? Thank you. I want to emphasize that Pennypacker has been a long-standing, family-oriented recreational facility in our community since 1963, and it's served multiple generations and continues to operate on the same footprint it has held for more than 60 years. Over time, Pennypacker has provided recreational opportunities to serve residents and families' evolving interests, including the addition of pickleball in 2023. After constructing permanent courts, some neighbors raised concerns about sound. In response, Pennypacker took multiple mitigation steps, as we've been already heard, planting trees, the sound buffer, maintaining limited or no play during midday hours, and installing the highest rated sound curtain. These investments demonstrate a sincere effort to address resident concerns while still maintaining a valued recreational facility. I also want to highlight that Uwchlan Township does not actually have a daytime decibel limit in its noise ordinance. Surrounding townships do. For example, Tredyffrin's limit is 55 decibels, Lower Marion is 57. Those are commonly accepted enforceable community standards. In contrast, Uwchlan Township's sound consultant, Gannett Fleming, selected 50 decibels as a target, despite it not appearing anywhere in the ordinance. For context, normal conversation, as Carol referenced, is typically 55 to 60 decibels. Nighttime ambient noise in an average neighborhood is around 50 decibels. I will add, there's noise in every neighborhood. I live in Eagleview, which is right near Pennypacker. I'm on a corner lot, and I hear basketballs, I hear lawnmowers, I hear children playing, I hear cars. It's a part of being in a healthy community with people living in it. Back to the township. The township's own measurements taken after Pennypacker installed additional mitigation show average readings of 53 to 55 decibels during full court usage. That's consistent with or lower than noise limits in similar communities. Given these findings and considering the absence of a codified daytime sound standard in Uwchlan Township, I urge the township to work collaboratively with Pennypacker toward a balanced, fair, and ordinance-based resolution. Pennypacker has demonstrated good faith efforts, invested in substantial improvements, and responded directly to community concerns. At the same time, it's important that any expectations for further mitigation be grounded in a clear, consistent, and legally adopted standard rather than an arbitrary threshold. Thanks for your time and for considering these comments, and I hope we can work toward a practical solution.
Thank you. Andrea Dortone?
Good evening. My name's Andrea Dortone, and I live at 715 North Milford Road, Downingtown. I am here as one of the owners of Pennypacker Country Club. Our club, as you know, has been part of this community for 63 years and started when my grandfather made the decision to build a pond where the community could come together after a long day's work to swim and enjoy one another. It still continues to be that place after all these years. Generations of people who have lived in this township have made memories for their children and their grandchildren and still come to be part of our community. Pickleball is just another aspect of our business that has brought together a group of people who can enjoy a sport, get exercise, laugh, make memories, and friendships. Since the original complaints by the neighbors, we have gone above and beyond to try to address these concerns because of what a community does, because that is what a community does. We met with the neighbors to hear their original concerns. We added 30 trees behind the courts. We adjusted our hours, and we put up a state-of-the-art sound curtain. We have not ignored the complaints and have worked with the township and the neighbors to try to solve their concerns. At our last meeting with the neighbors, we again offered some solutions. One that was suggested by Chuck Jung, which is the neighbor directly behind the courts, was to have the pickleball season be from Memorial Day to Labor Day and mirror our swim season. That is something we are willing to do and ask the township to consider this option. Another option would be to allow us to use our five back courts that are surrounded by our sound curtain. We are willing to get a decibel reading when just those courts are being used from our sound engineer. However, we need to be open to do those readings. We have been and are willing to work with everyone. We have been and are willing to work with everyone to compromise and provide a healthy environment for those who love our club and live adjacent to it. As our representatives in this township and for our whole community, we would like you to consider these fair, reasonable options. Thank you. And could I please submit this copy for the minutes? Thanks.
Mr. Cagle can take it. Thank you. Brian Siegel?
Good evening, I'm Brian Siegel. I live on Coriel Court. I am currently the president of the Welsh Airs Homeowners Association and would like to thank the board and the township for addressing the pickleball noise at Pennypacker Country Club. As we look around the area and the country, pickleball has taken off and is enjoyed by thousands, including my mother-in-law, but the excitement often falls flat when it is in or near one's neighborhood or home. Many lawsuits and legal actions can support this. It has been a long 4 years for many of our neighbors. It impacts homeowners on Hawthorne Street, Cordell Court, Kinston Lane, Welsh Airs Way, and Noble Drive. In a whole, the entire Welsh Airs Homeowners Association is impacted varying degrees, and your action has restored our ability to enjoy our community and homeowners to again have the quiet enjoyment of their backyards and their homes. Pennypacker Country Club is a business and it's designed to generate revenue for the owners. The claim that they are building community should not be permitted while at the same time they are damaging another community. It should not be profit over people. They should be held to the same standards as everyone else in the community. The codes, laws, and ordinances in the township are in place to protect everyone. No one person, business, or corporation should have special treatment. I encourage you all to continue to ensure that a peaceful resolution is identified that is both enforceable and permanent. Our homeowners stand ready to support the township in whatever proceeding or forum is deemed appropriate and will provide testimony to support the actions taken by the township. We would do so not only to support this challenge, but to ensure that the township continues to be able to support the quality of life we have all come to enjoy in Uwchlan Township. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Dennis Runyon?
Good evening. My name is Dennis Runyon. I live at 812 Hawthorne Street. And I have a big frog in my throat. First of all, I want to thank the Township Supervisors and the police officers during this celebration week before we get to what we came to talk about. The Pennypacker Swim and Tennis Club and the Welsh Airs Homeowners Association have peacefully coexisted for over 40 years. Think about that, 40 years. At the last township meeting, a resident and Pennypacker pickleball member addressed the board and indicated that the homeowners association, the homeowners should have expected to have the pickleball noise when we bought our homes next to a club. Then it was implied that because the Pennypacker Swim and Tennis Club had been there first, this gave them the right of additional privilege regarding what they are permitted to do with their business. Let me start with the second point first. It would establish a dangerous precedent for the township to grant a corporation or homeowner special consideration regarding the rules and ordinances simply because, quote, they were there first, end quote. This is a slippery slope. I certainly would not want to be part of a township that would permit a wholesale change to the nature of the business of a business operation simply because they were there first. Regarding the other statement made by the same pickleball player that we should have expected the pickleball noise because we bought homes adjoining a swim and tennis club is misguided. There were sounds that could have been expected when we bought our homes. Living near a swim and tennis club would mean the sounds of splashing, swim meets, lifeguard whistles, swim parties, etc., the diving boards, and the tennis play. We were at peace with those sounds. We also knew that downtown area school district might build a second school building on their property at the Shimona Creek Elementary School. We were able to work with the school district to incorporate that second building into the landscape of our community. Let me ask, how many complaints has the township fielded from the residents of Welsh Airs over the last 40 years? I don't know the answer to that, but I can't imagine it's tons. Pickleball is a significant deviation from what has been a swim and tennis club for the last 40 years that Welsh Airs Homers or Welsh Airs has been in existence. The Pennypacker Corporation has taken an area that has historically permitted 12 people to play tennis on 3 courts, considering playing doubles, and created 10 courts where 40 people play pickleball. The noise of the pickleballs and rackets, along with the loud play and occasionally profanity of up to 40 people, is not tolerable. The nature of the sport and the popping sound it generates should not be permitted to continue. The sound of 12 people playing tennis with a softball traveling the full length of a tennis court is entirely different than the sound created by a plastic ball hitting a hard paddle, while players play just feet on either side of the pickleball net. The Pennypacker Corporation should not be permitted to take away our right to enjoy the quiet enjoyment of our homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Tuffner.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Eric Tuffner. I live on 813 Hawthorne Street in the Welsh Airs community, and my property is adjacent to the entire length of the Pennypacker pickleball court designation. Just a little bit of quick background. Back 3 years ago or so, when Pennypacker decided to do what everybody kind of agrees on was a trial run, bring in some portable nets and some temporary lines for a handful of courts to see if it was feasible to conduct a pickleball operation there. Several weeks into that experiment, if you will, the Welsh Airs neighbors did notice a significant difference. Something was different in the community, impacting our enjoyment level of our residential properties. So we contacted them through email and respectfully brought it to their attention, hoping that we can amicably come up with a solution between the two parties without involving township authorities or anything like that. Noted that we were obviously members of the club for so many years, all of us active in the community, thinking that in good faith, they would obviously work with us here. Maybe they could relocate the pickleball courts closer to the pool or the barn or somewhere else on the property. Just try to do something. So after later in the season, we did contact the authorities, and that's why we're here today. And using direct line from the pickleball, or I'm sorry, the ordinance in the township for noise, it's a nuisance that is depriving us of the enjoyment of our residential properties. And like I said, we kindly asked them to look into the operation in the hopes that the Welsh Airs neighbors and Pennypacker can reach a mutual solution without involving the township. So what they did was getting that feedback, and in addition of, you can't really plead ignorance, you don't know about, there's a stigma with the noise going on. Just any Google search of pickleball space noise yields countless articles about the science of it, how it's different from tennis, and how it's been impacting other communities in close proximity to that type of play. It's a different kind of sound. It's the frequency and pitch. It's not the decibel levels per se. It's that jarring and predictable spikes, that jarring attention that impacts you psychologically. I can speak personal experience. We have a son that's been dealing with mental health issues the last 6 years, working really hard at it. And one of his issues is there is an auditory triggering for sounds such as this that leads to depressive episodes. And this has been a very big struggle for us over the years. The type of sound, it's not a lawnmower sound running in the background for several hours. It's something completely different. And then, like I said, impacts us psychologically. And a couple, the members of Pennypacker have mentioned that, pickleball is good athletic activity. It promotes socialization, positive mental health. We do agree with that. I'd like to play it sometime when I have some time. But it's not to the impact of others, right? The case in point, they can play in other places, right? There are other facilities. There's new pickleball facilities open up in Exton, the Pickler, the pickleball facility in Downingtown. And one last comment, the members there can play and they can go back to their homes and enjoy their quiet properties, open their windows on nice days such as we had last Mother's Day. We cannot do that. We can never leave it. Thank you.
Thank you. David? What's your last name? David Yost. Yes. Oh, there's another David next. I got lost in the Davids. You're up.
Good evening, my name is David Yost. My wife Cynthia. We live at 613 Caraway Lane, Eagle View, where it seems like we're going to be getting a bunch more neighbors that we're all going to be vying for the very few pickleball courts that are available in the community. But that's Pennypacker Country Club provides Uwchlan Township residents and the residents of surrounding townships quality courts dedicated to pickleball with permanent nets, clear lines, appropriate surface in a beautiful setting. It's a lovely area to see the deer running around their fields. You get to look over and you get to see how blessed we are to live in such a beautiful area. We get to improve our physical health and exercise, breathing in fresh air while getting a little bit of vitamin D where you can't really get that at the pickler under the fluorescent lights. Pickleball helps to improve mental health and tracking ball movement, keeping score, or trying to at our age, shoot selection, anticipating shots, all of that. It's also extremely important for the sportsmanship and teamwork. The most important thing that we have found with it are the friendships that we've gained through the game. How many people are here for Pennypacker this evening? It's now my pleasure to be able to call all these people friends that I didn't know. A lot of them, even though we lived in Eagle View together for many years, we didn't know the other people that lived in our neighborhood, and we wouldn't know them otherwise unless we played at Pennypacker. Because of these friendships that we also go out to eat dinner, breakfast, lunch at local establishments, making this a viable community as a whole. I really want to thank you for listening to us. It is more than just a game. It is community, and it is beneficial for not just us, but our families and our friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you. David S. Schweitzer? I'm sorry. Schweizer. Okay, it's close. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm David Schweizer. I live at 802 Hawthorne Street. And I just have two thoughts to share. It's some basic facts regarding acoustics. I'm not a sound engineer by any means, but some simple facts. First being that increases in sound decibel levels are not linear in nature. They're logarithmic, similar in some ways to the Richter scale for earthquakes. So if, for example, if you have a 4.0 earthquake compared to an 8.0 on the Richter scale earthquake, that 8.0 earthquake is not twice as impactful as the 4.0 earthquake. It's many, many times more impactful because of the logarithmic relationship. Similarly, in some ways, the decibel scale works that way. If you have a 50 decibel sound level, you don't have to go to 100 decibels to make a sound impact that's twice as impactful. You only have to go about 3 or 4 decibels higher to have twice the sound impact. So I just wanted to share that, that fact. I know sound studies have been done, but the impact is what really needs to be looked at. Along with that is the nature of the sound impact of pickleball. The sound level related to pickleball is not static in nature. It's dynamic. It's an impulsive, high-pitched popping noise at a piercing high frequency, repetitive over the course of an hour, sometimes several hundred of those high piercing pops over the course of an hour. It's not surprising, just based on common sense, that it would be very impactful to have that high-pitched, high-frequency, piercing popping noise several hundred times an hour, in addition to the human noises that would normally be associated with the play of pickleball by its very nature. It's not surprising that that has an impact on the adjacent residents and surrounding properties. So I just wanted to share that fact. Thank you.
Thank you. Ruth Jones?
Hey, good evening. My name is Ruth Jung, and I have lived on Hawthorne Street now for 20 years. Over the course of the last several years, we have all learned a great deal about pickleball. Until recent years, few knew the significant impact of the noise generated by that hard plastic ball against the paddles. Fortunately for the Uwchlan Township neighbors who live in the areas surrounding the Lionville YMCA, our own township supervisor, Bill Miller, he did have that knowledge. In 2023, Bill, who was ahead of the curve a bit, knew and recognized the noise problem generated by pickleball. At a township meeting on May 8th, 2023, there was a discussion about installing outdoor pickleball courts at the YMCA. At that meeting, Mr. Miller stated that he did not need a sound study to know pickleball noise was an issue. Those courts, they were never built. Thank you, Mr. Miller, for identifying the problem and preventing those township residents from having to endure what we have endured for several years. That township decision was rendered because it was the right thing to do for those families. And it was right then, and it is right now. So why is there any debate over whether pickleball should be permitted at the Pennypacker Swim-In Tennis Club? Why is it that the township has permitted noise violations to continue for several years? What is it about the Pennypacker Corporation that could lead us to be here at this moment discussing this matter? Furthermore, and frankly more perplexing to me as a human being, is this question. Why would a family, the owners of the Pennypacker Swim and Tennis Club, who have personally told us that they wish to be good neighbors, why would they want to sue a township for enforcing township ordinances? These are ordinances which would restore peace and tranquility to the neighboring homeowners. I have reluctantly grown to realize that there is no other explanation than what our home association president stated earlier. Their motivation is profit, not people. There's certainly benefits to play, but there's benefits to the corporation. It is our expectation that the township will do the right thing again. There needs to be addressed so that we can resume life as it was before the use of the courts was dramatically altered. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Kelly Myers?
Good evening. My name is Kelly Myers, and I live on Wellshares Way in Uwchlan Township. We have lived there for almost 32 years. I do walk my neighborhood, and I have sat and witnessed and have heard firsthand the popping of pickleball in my neighborhood. And that is with the mitigation that the Pennypackers have tried to incorporate. For years, noise ordinances have had a place in communities for a good reason, to preserve the right that someone has to a peaceful environment. In this and many other circumstances, sound engineers have been educated for and tasked with measuring and detecting sound that is, as in this case, uncomfortable and disruptive. They follow the science behind what they do. And in this case, the sounds of pickleball from 8 in the morning until evening meets the threshold of what constitutes a violation of a noise ordinance. Those neighbors cannot drive away from that noise. The community's sounds, like Mary noted, like lawnmowers, cars, etc., do not continue from 8 a.m. until evening. I would have thought that as community-minded neighbors, the Pennypacker Corporation would have kept their community in mind when concerns were brought to them about hours of noise coming from their property 4 years ago by neighboring families who have spent thousands on their property to enjoy their homes and their backyards. Instead, it seems that some measures that the penny packers have tried to do have at least been the least amount of money that they could have spent to appear to mitigate the legitimate science-backed metrics and broken ordinances that have happened. What the Pennypacker Corporation has done has disappointed me and surprised me, and that a more clear remedy for this noise issue was not done from the very beginning. I do know what is wrong and what is right when I see it, or in this case, I hear it. I appreciate the board and the township addressing the noise problem.
Thank you. Fran Fetcher?
Hi, my name is Fran Fetcher and I live at 100 Corriedale Court, and my backyard also borders, which was when I bought my home, the Pennypacker Swim and Tennis Club, not Pennypacker Sports. The noise from pickleball has been constant in the last 4 years. I know that the Pennypackers have made some effort to mitigate that sound. They put up sound barriers. However, they put up sound barriers on half the pickleball court, not all the way around the pickleball court. I know they planted trees, but they planted trees that are about maybe 7 feet lower than the pickleball courts and have huge gaps in between them, so they haven't really done much to block the sound. We have lived with the pool and the tennis court noise in our home for 38 years and have had no problem, but the pickleball noise is a completely different noise. There have been studies done that say when those hours and 10 courts, you can hear up to 20,000 pops per day, just constant pop, pop, pop. In addition to that, I have small grandchildren that play in my backyard, and some of the profanity that comes from missed shots on a pickleball court, we have never heard from the tennis players. So that's another issue that we're dealing with small children. It's just been, we cannot use the back of our home at all during pickleball season because the noise is constant. And it just seems to me like if you buy a home and you create, how many people are here from the Welshers? These are all our friends, and we cannot gather in our backyards anymore to enjoy each other because all we hear when we go out there is the pickleball pop constant. So I'm just hoping that the township will uphold the sound ordinances and give us all the ability to use our neighborhood and our backyards and our outdoor spaces here. Thank you.
Thank you. Charles Jones?
Charles Jung, also on Hawthorne Street in Downingtown, Uwchlan Township member. My family and I used to be members of the Pennypacker Swim and Tennis Club. We were members from 2006 until recently, and many of the people that we have met at the club have become our friends. And I would say most of the people who are members at the club are level-headed and reasonable people. I would suggest that the pickleball players likely do not even know that their play, being so close to our homes, negatively impacts our community. Some may be under the impression that the sound curtain fixed the problem, that the trees that were planted fixed the problem. In fact, I'm aware of a number of players who no longer play pickleball at the Pennypacker Swim and Tennis Club when I invited them to our side of the property line to hear the noise generated from their play. I'm aware of a number of people who will not join and have told others they would not play there because of that close proximity of those courts to our homes. My point is this: when considerate people consider the impact on others and live by the rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, a wonderful thing happens. It's called understanding. When you put people ahead of profits, then understanding can occur. You become sympathetically aware of other people's feelings, as one definition of the word points out. The homeowners must be given an opportunity to provide testimony if the Pennypacker Corporation's lawsuit against the taxpayers of Uwchlan Township were to go to court. We can provide the court with this understanding. This is not the big bad township imposing its will on a business. It is a township protecting its residents fairly and consistently to ensure that we all can continue to enjoy the benefits we have come to expect from being a resident of Uwchlan Township. There's a concern there's not enough pickleball courts. There's a great park that's just behind a certain person's home that I think would be a perfect place to put 10 pickleball courts. We could talk about the details on that another time. John and I, we are not only, friends from a prior time, John the pickleball pro, his son and my son, we played ball, they played ball together. I know Mr. Milano, we also had playing ball together. These are people that I know. I want to put a face to the problem. I want you to understand, these are real problems. So I thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention and consideration.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes this evening's public comment. Just wanted, oh, did you not sign in? Sorry. Okay, just for future reference, if you could sign in at the beginning of the meeting at the back, we'll allow these two.
Sounds good.
Go ahead.
Good
Could you state
evening.
your name for the record?
Dean
please?
Dortone, 715 North Milford Road. So a couple things I'd like to point out. First of all, what we're talking about here tonight, right, is decibel levels, benchmarks, scientific benchmarks, right? They're not included in the ordinance, and not every municipality has an ordinance written like that. We pointed out a few that are just in the region, Lower Merion, Tredyffrin, Upper Uwchlan. They have defined decibel levels. The EPA has defined decibel levels. And what the EPA says is that that level is about 55 decibels for outside noise. So I think the point that everyone's trying to make is that it would be fair if there was something for us to be measuring against. And some of the investments that have been made, the trees, they're above the pickleball by 2 feet. They were put in at 12 foot.
You may direct your comments
Oh,
to
I
me,
know,
sir.
I know, I'm making a comment, I'm just clarifying a few points. The reason that we put the sound barrier in, and we did a lot of research on it, was to push the noise out. So that's why it's shaped like a U, and it's pointing out to the rest of the swim club business. So there have been a number of things, and we weren't just throwing darts. We visited these municipalities. We went to Lower Merion. We went, to Tredyffrin, and same with Upper Uwchlan. All three have pickleball courts outside, and it's more than 1 or 2 courts. So we did look at it. We talked to professionals, and I think that we put forth a good effort to try and mitigate the noise from where it was. So just wanted to get that on the record.
Thank you. That's okay. Please state your name.
My name is Matthew Milano. I live at 629 Huntington Drive, which also happens to be in Eagleview. Been there for 32 years. When I moved in, Shimono Creek Elementary School had recently been built. And on quiet days, while I was enjoying the peacefulness of my backyard, I could hear children screaming from the playground. And I thought to myself, wow, that kind of disturbs me a little bit. I wonder what I could do about it. Maybe I could go up to the school and tell those kids to stop screaming, stop having fun, stop doing what kids do at a school. But I thought to myself, that school was built before I moved in, but I still decided to move in. So I guess that's on me a little bit. Really didn't expect the kids to be out there screaming when they were supposed to be inside doing reading, math, and social studies and civics. But I just bit my lip, and I live with the noise coming from the children screaming in the playground. And for 32 years, I just thought, hey, suck it up, right? So fast forward now, and I find out that there's a sporting club that's been here since 1963 that offers, that's not a corporation, it's a family-owned business that offers sporting opportunities for citizens of Uwchlan Township, of which there's 89 of us that have signed a petition here, which I will leave. You know, and now because there are a handful of residents who make a pitch that, hey, this isn't necessarily louder than anything else that's going on in the neighborhood, but it's different. And to me, I'm thinking we need a standard, and the standard needs to be a decibel level. And if that pickleball exceeds the decibel level, then you're perfectly in your rights to say, hey guys, you're exceeding the decibel level. But everything I'm hearing, especially from the sound engineer who's not a sound engineer, is that, hey, it's not that it's above a decibel level, a standard decibel level that's accepted in many other communities. It's that it's different. Well, let's set a standard and live by it, right? It has to be a decibel level, and then force any organization or family-run business to follow the decibel level. You can't just say, look, yeah, I'm okay with tennis balls and kids swimming and screaming and doing that stuff, but I'm not okay with the ping of a pickleball against a paddle. It's different. I'm not used to it. I've only heard it for 3 years, and I don't like it. So please stop. I mean, let's figure it out. Set a standard. You guys are there to set standards. Pick a decibel level, and then let's live with it. And these 89 signatures are petitions from Uwchlan Township residents.
Thank you. That will conclude this evening's public comment period. Again, I'll draw your attention to the announcements that are listed at the bottom of this evening's agenda. And with that, I'll ask if there is a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in